Thanks for joining us on PO Sports Talk. I'm Colin Stevens alongside Mike Miller. We just finished up our first week of basketball, and another top player in the area went down with an injury last night, Trevor Reisinger from Bannock Metal. Can you give us the latest, Mike?
We're not really sure right now how long Reisinger is going to be out for the Tigers, but certainly it's a huge blow to a team that was looking to take that next step this season. You know, I think through the first 2 or so games, he was averaging close to 20 points a game, just a huge part of their team. So, you know, definitely a big blow, but we'll see how the injury plays out, see if he will be a factor maybe some point later this season.
Yep, and another team that lost a top player, Chambersburg, lost Skylar Roman, their star guard from last year, but they still made it to the finals of the Franklin County tip-off last week. You were there, Mike. Can you tell us about that final game against Greencastle?
It was a game where you really saw how much the Trojans are going to miss Skylar Roman this year. I mean, it got to a point in the second half where the Trojans probably got a little complacent there on offense. They had, I think, a 14-point halftime lead on Greencastle, and they just imploded in the second half. There was an 8-minute stretch midway through the second half where the Blue Devils went on a 27-1 run and just totally knocked the wind out of Chambersburg, and it was hard to watch. With this Chambersburg team right now, you're seeing a team that obviously misses Skylar Roman tremendously. At guard, they're rushing through their sets. They just don't look too sure of themselves right now, just sort of feeling their way through this early portion of the schedule. In a 58-47 loss to CD last night, that was full display. Mitch Stahl gets in early foul trouble. They lose their go-to guy down the post, and then they're just sort of stumbling through their sets and just didn't look like they really knew what they were doing. Really know what they were doing at the time. So it's been tough to watch so far, but the good thing is it's only been 3 games so far. They have plenty of time to sort of find their rhythm and get back into shape. And there are certainly signs, to be encouraged by. Colin Williams has been he stood out, played some very good games early on. Mitch Stahl he's looked fine. He's gotten into foul trouble last night against CD's star forward Devin Thomas, but you got to be impressed with what you've seen from Mitch taking that next step this season. So, like I said early on in the season, certainly not time to panic, but I think we're all witnessing how much the Trojans are missing Skylar Roman right now.
Yeah, definitely a player they'll be missing all season long. And we had the same matchup in the girls' final at the Franklin County tip-off. Chambersburg played Greencastle, a game that went into overtime. Chambersburg stalled down the stretch, only scored 2 points in the final 10 minutes. And Chloe Hoover for Greencastle hit a 3-pointer with under 10 seconds left in the game to send it into overtime. Exciting finish, but then Dara Walker stepped up in overtime and pulled the win out for Chambersburg. Chambersburg is looking like a solid team. Dara Walker and Marche Ryan look like they can score when they want to. They're really quick, and Marche Ryan especially has great skills in the paint and can make great moves towards the basket and create open spaces for herself. So I'm looking for those two to be top players for Chambersburg this season. But Greencastle is definitely a team that we want to watch out for. They look like they're going to be a quick team, play strong defense, especially out of the zone. That's what they showed at least against Chambersburg. And Tasha Smothers running the point. She's looked pretty good. She's fast, has great defense, and that defense generates points for her. But another asset that Greencastle has is the rebounding. You noticed that a little bit, Mike. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, they have Rachel Klein at forward, and she's just done a phenomenal job so far this season pulling down rebounds. The past 2 nights, they played in a stretch. It was kind of weird. They played 4 games in 5 days, and Rachel Klein was showing no ill effects of that tough stretch. She had about 30 rebounds over the final 2 games of that 4 games in 5 day stretch, so she'll certainly be a big contributor for this Greencastle team going forward.
And another team in the mid-pen to watch out for is Shippensburg. They have been shooting extremely well early on. Just 2 nights ago, Megan Bayer went 7 for 7, including 6 for 6 from 3-point range. And Jenna Parson is also a top shooter on their team. They've got a lot of options, and we're definitely going to be watching them to have a fast start for the season. Another team that's having a fast start is Shalom. A year after almost not fielding a team, only had about 6 girls on the team and played 9 games. They're playing a full schedule this year with Brad Eby taking over as coach. He was a late addition to the coaching staff, taking over from Mike Ryan, who ended up in Greencastle. But he's already got these girls off to a 2-1 start after going 0-9 last year, and that's definitely a story to keep watching as the season progresses. All right, well, thanks for joining us on PO Sports Talk. If you have anything you want us to touch on next week, please contact us on our Twitter. That's at PO Sports Desk. And thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week.
What up?